All right, guys, it is Saturday, Memorial Day weekend. It's not going to rain today, so I'm going to take apart my truck. Going to do the front axle bearings and hub, as well as rotors on both sides and brake pads. But I realized I don't have a 36mm socket. My set only goes to 35, so I'm going to run out and get a socket. I figured I'd take the bike. So why don't you come along, we'll take a quick ride. Alright guys, well, here it is, 36mm. Let me see that. As good as this set of tools is, this is the Harbor Freight 301 piece tool set. I gotta tell you, I've had this for about 5 years. It's never let me down. If you're gonna do your own mechanic work, you need a decent range of tools. Okay, now this has Torx, Allen, 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, all the way up to a 35mm, and I just don't have, I needed a 36 for the axle bolts. I'll show after. But if you're going to do any kind of work on the rig, you're going to want to have a halfway decent set of tools. Now this set here is just a small socket set, which handles 90% of everything that I do. Just a standard 3/8 range of a few metric, a few, you know, of your standard. But when you're doing something like I'm going to be doing here with the wheel bearings and the hub, removing the hub, having a good set of tools is good. Now I'm not saying this is a good set of tools. It's not. I mean, I think I paid $160, $170 for the set. But I'm not a mechanic. I just do my own stuff. And if something breaks, I just go, like these two here. I lost a couple sockets. I can just go down to Harbor Freight and buy those individual sockets and replace them. So works pretty good. I keep it buried in the motorhome, and then I use the orange set there for everyday stuff. But this is what I just went on the bike to go get, was the 36, and hope you guys enjoyed the ride. Maybe I'll put some more footage at the end of this video, but I don't want this video to be too long, so we'll see. All right, so I got the car jacked up, the truck. You can see there I got jack stands. And in addition to jack stands, I got the rear wheels blocked. I always keep your jack under there with some tension on it as well, on the side that you're working. Now that's kind of like my backup, okay? All the weight is on the jack stands, and I have a little bit of the weight taken off with the jack, and just in case one or the other fails, I have two different systems. And then when I move to the other side, I will also put the jack on that side, on the side that I'm working on. You can also use 4x4s or some blocks of wood or something, but I always like to have two different things. All right, so the first thing we did is we took the wheel off, obviously, but we're gonna get all our tools together. First thing you're gonna need after you take the wheel off is a T55 Torx. I recommend one that has the inserted carbon steel Torx in it, not the ones that are just one Palladium solid piece. They strip out real easy. These seem to last me for years. I'm gonna have an extension, and then you're gonna need a 18mm and a 15mm, as well as your 36mm socket for the hub nut there, the main axle nut right here. So the first thing we're gonna do is remove the brakes. We're gonna use the T55 Torx on the back side and remove the caliper. One other thing you're going to need is a large C-clamp I forgot to add. This one I bought the last time I did brakes, got it at Harbor Freight, again $3. Makes the job so much easier to compress the caliper pistons to make it easier to take the caliper off. You'll notice these are brand new brake pads in here, but because I'm taking it all apart again, I decided to go ahead and change the rotors as well as put new pads on again. They're lifetime, so changing the pads won't cost me anything. Alright, just put your caliper up on top here. Try not to kink or twist the brake line too much. Now we're going to remove right back here these 18 millimeter that hold on the caliper frame or retainers or whatever these are called, brackets, caliper bracket, and those are going to be 18 millimeter. Take a look at these pads. Talk about like brand new, huh? But look at this one. See the grooves in it? That's because the rotor's bad on the back side. So that's why we're changing the rotors. I don't know if you can see that, but did you know that you can save by switching to Geico? Plane going by. So here's the hub. I did take off the rotor there. And if you take the hub here, you can actually, I don't know if you can hear that. A little bit of movement. Now listen to this. Let me get the microphone a little closer. Hear that? That's the bearings, and they're not sounding too good. So, and while I'm in here, I'll check my boots, make sure they're okay. And they look good. I have a little, looks like an oil leak over there though. But it looks like it's coming from up above. So I have to clean that off and check it out. I already put the new shocks in. I put the Monroe Reflex gas shocks. You see those are new. I tell you, when you want to have a vehicle with over 100,000 miles, this one's got almost 150 on it now. You gotta replace things. You gotta do maintenance. All right, so now we're gonna work on the hub, which is these 3 bolts in the back, 3 or 4, 15 millimeter. Right. There you have it. Now apparently this will slide right off. There's the old assembly. And you can see the movement. You don't want any movement in there. And luckily it comes with a ABS sensor, the whole thing, the new one right here. Alright, well, there's your axle. Okay, you get your mounting bolts for your flange, for your bearing. And that's pretty much it. Inspect it. Looks good. We're going to take a wire brush. See all this rust in here? That's why it was hard to get out. And I don't want to have a problem with the new ones, so we're going to clean all that out. And then probably put some never sees right in the side, inside here, just to keep it from fusing together, make it easier if I ever do have to do it again, or if somebody else has to do it. Got the new one right here. And it comes complete with the new ABS sensor, the whole 9 yards. Alright, what I have here is just some safeties, anti-seize here. This stuff's good for like 2,000 degrees. It's a copper-based, high-pressure, anti-lock, anti-seize type. And we're just going to put it all around the axle there, where the surfaces meet. Just a thin amount. You don't want too much because you don't want it to interfere with the ABS sensor. Because as soon as you do that, you drive it, the light will come on. Alright, so I got a nice thin coating of anti-seize in there, and I also did the inside of the new hub here. And now we're pretty much ready to put it back on. I'm going to just hit around the outside here where it goes in. Very little. And reassemble. Well, I put this dust cover on backwards. I normally take pictures of things I take apart first. So I got to pull the hub back off, spin this around. I didn't tighten the hub all the way. I just got the bolts started and started tightening them, and it just didn't look like it was sitting right. So I went and took the wheel off the other side. I have to take it off anyway to do the brakes over there. And I noticed this heat shield was on the wrong friggin' way, so I got to take it, spin it, and put it back in. Oh well. Alright, got the axle nut back in place. Everything spins nice and smoothly, nice and tight. This is the torque stick. It's 150 foot-pounds. Now, one thing you need to know is the one important spec here is this nut here. It needs to be 156 foot-pounds. If you put too much or too little, it'll wear the bearing out prematurely. So for now, I got it at 150 or so, as accurate as those torque sticks can be. After I get the wheel on, I'll torque it down to 156 with a torque wrench. Now, we're going to put the brackets back on for the caliper, and we're going to assemble the brakes, put the new rotors on. Let me get that part of it done, and then I'll show you what it looks like. This is more of about how to do the hub and the bearing rather than a brake job, so I'm not going to spend too much time on the brakes. Alright, there you have it. New pads, new rotors, new hub. Make sure everything spins freely. There'll be a little drag until they adjust, but looks good. Now we just got to reroute the ABS sensor back up through and plug it back in. We'll do that now, and then we'll start the other side. So that's it, guys. New hubs, original calipers, new pads, and new rotors. Alright, well, let me clean this up and get the other side done. Hope this has been a little bit of a help. Don't forget to re-torque your main axle nut here to 156 pounds. You don't want that new bearing failing prematurely. Alright guys, talk to you soon.